All right, so here's the deal. This isn't a haircut that's gonna stand out by no means. Like I'm not gonna put this on Instagram, right? But here's the reality. In the barbershop, the majority of your clients are going to want basic haircuts, right? Number one on the sides and higher. Number two and number three, finger length on top, or all evens, just basic haircuts, and that's the reality. Now, us as influencers, as social media barbers or whatever, we're gonna post the best possible haircuts we can put out there, right? And that sometimes requires, actually all the time requires, the best grade of hair that you can find. Not everyone can get a crispy lineup. Not everyone can get a blurry bald fade. And so a lot of times you don't see those haircuts as tutorials. So I want to do something a little different. I want to bring you guys back to the basics. A simple haircut, clipper over comb, number one on the sides, a little bit off the top. So you'll see some scissor work. You'll see some guards, but you'll also see a lot, mostly clipper over comb. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of one of the basic fundamental techniques that every barber should know. I feel like people have made clipper over comb like to be almost to be like some special skill set that's that's a lost art, but I feel like it's just a basic fundamental technique. It's like the pump fake. It's like the jab step, right? People don't do it that much on Instagram or YouTube because it just doesn't get that much attention. It's not the crossover. You know what I mean? It's not the sham, you know what I mean? You guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, hopefully you guys learned something from this video. If you like it, please smash the like button. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's get started. YouTube, what's going on? Got another haircut tutorial for you. And we're going to go right off the rip. Clipper over comb. I'm using my JRL 1040s, I believe. Fresh fade 1040, whatever. And we're gonna go ahead and start at the parietal ridge. This is our foundation, the foundation of the cut. Now we're gonna go at an angle using the comb at more of a vertical angle, and go ahead and start to clear the bulk. Now this comb is like a 1.5. It looks like a number 2 or 1.5, and I'm okay with that because where I want to start my fade work, I do like to use guards. I just feel like you can be much more detailed with guards when you're doing the fade work. But with this comb, I can clear out a lot of the bulk and start my fade at the 1.5 or the number 2 below. I'm okay with that. So here I'm doing my number 1 on the sides. We've already cleared much of the bulk, and there isn't going to be a lot of fading to do since we're just doing a number 1. I already know that my number 1 closed, that my number 1 open, like it is right now, is going to blend right into where we just did clipper over comb. Now I am going to taper the back out, and then I'm going to do a light taper at the temple area because that tends to grow faster than the sides. So I like to lower that a bit more just to add some longevity and spice the cut up a little bit. And then here we're just going with the comb horizontally and just catching any little stray hairs that are coming off the length of the one open guard. Alright, and we're doing the same exact steps around the rest of the head. Now I'm doing it in parts because of the fact that I'm recording a YouTube video, but typically I would have started the parietal ridge, done that all the way around, and then go ahead and start to clear the bulk on the sides all the way around, and then my number 1 guard blended into the work that I did with the clipper over comb. Now understand, not every clipper comb is going to be a 1.5. There's clipper combs that end up looking more like a number 1. There's some that end up looking more like a 2. Right? It's absolutely all about the width of the comb. I just happen to like this one because, again, I like to start my fade work at the 1/2 because that's darker and I have more control of gradients when I'm using guards to fade. And so I'm going to shut up this part of the tutorial. You guys know what I'm doing, so I'll let you guys follow along. These are like on low power, 7 hours. Wow. If you're part of, so this particular model actually watches my channel. He cuts his own hair and he just came out to get a haircut by me. So he was actually asking me about, this is the first time the second time I used these clippers. So he was asking me about them and I actually, I like them. But what I was gonna say is if you're part of the online academy, there will be a 30-minute long video of this haircut, this technique, and also some mannequin work where I try to explain clipper over comb much more detailed and give you guys some more tips. But that, I got 30 minutes on that video, just bars. So that's for all my online academy people. Alright, so we've done the bulk of the work with clipper over comb. Now I'm just using my number 1 guard to get it even tighter, and then we'll open up the number 1 to blend into the clipper over comb work that we did. And once I'm done with that, we'll go ahead and start tapering out the sides and the back, and I'll be using the JRLs for that as well. Alright, and it's already a number 1 in this area, so I'm really just going closed and then open the JRL to blend into the number 1. I might use the number 0 guard, but yeah, I didn't really have to here, as you can see. So closed again, then I opened it up. Right here I did use the number 0 guard just to blend the beard in a little bit better. And you'll see in the back where the taper really is going to stand out, where it's going to pop some. He's rocking the wall one, but I couldn't get it to cut. But then I've heard people say that the wall blade works better. So I'm using the Slimline LIs. They are modified. A6 Custom hooked me up. But once Shannon gets a hold of my JRLs and he 0 gaps them, like I don't even need to use the T outliners to start off with. And that's something that that's something I'm learning. I'm learning more about this clipper as I cut, and I'll continue to share information that I'm learning throughout the process. But that's something I would have done differently in this particular haircut.
2 names in there or what? A new car? Appreciate it, guys. So you guys don't have to come with me to the dealership, but you can if you want to. I'm gonna get something light, bro. You're not gonna get much for $320 a month. I'll probably get like a Corolla or something light. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? No, some light, bro.
And you guys can see with this number 0 guard, it's really like the taper's coming together. It looks clean. And this is just, adding some extra sauce to what I would call a basic haircut. And we're gonna go ahead and put this line on here. I will tell you guys, I don't like the JRL trimmers. I seen Squeak get him to hit, but I haven't been able to get him to hit. Maybe I'll have him. I'll try to get some tips from him and try to figure out how to set him a little bit better. But they don't hit like these slim lines. You can see instantly that line look enhanced. And this is light hair, coarse hair.
It's not going like the movies make it out. Yo, we got him. I shredded it.
All right, we'll go ahead and start to cut the top, wet the hair down. And right here, all I'm doing is connecting any hair that's falling over to the sides. That's kind of like, you know, not connecting, as you can see. And all I'm doing is I'm keeping everything squared off the head. I'm not cutting into the round of his head. And I'm just cutting those little pieces that are overlapping. Once we'll do that all the way around the head. And then once we're done with that, we'll go ahead and start to cut the top and trim the top. And I'm taking little horizontal sections.
Yeah, because if not, it'll start focusing on. And this camera has like the best focus system out of any of them. Well, this camera has so much. They purposely took off.
Right there in the back, I was just using box graduation to connect anything that's overlapping in the back.
It can do it. They just took it off.
And again, taking more vertical sections. I'm gonna end up taking like 4 or 5 probably vertical sections to trim the entire top. And I'm just taking a little bit off. I'm just making sure it's squared horizontally, but also squared vertically.
A 50, because it's such a small camera, a 50 would be equivalent to like an 85. So the portrait camera lens for this camera is a 22. But for Reds, he bought a and he said it works great. Yeah, because it's a different, the lenses don't fit. Like this camera has its lenses. Because the camera's so small, it has its own lenses, you know what I mean? But with that adapter, you put the bigger, and it looks good. I don't know if you see Reds videos, it looks good. Yeah, probably does.
And once I get into the fringe area, I'm just over directing everything back to the top of his head and cutting it, because I don't want to cut it too short in the front. And then what I'm doing here is I'm just bringing his fringe down, and I'm just making sure it's all even. Because the way he was telling me he wanted to cut his hair, he was telling me he wanted it. He wants to comb it over and stuff, but he doesn't really do his hair. So if he doesn't comb it up or comb it over, I want it to still look good. I don't want it to be uneven if it's, you know, hanging over his forehead. So that's why I'm cleaning it up here. But you'll see how I style it. See, I'm adding some volume there in the front. But that's pretty much the haircut. We'll go ahead and clean everything up around with the razor, and then we'll add some styling product in his hair. What I'm gonna use in his hair is the clay, and you guys will see the finished result in a bit. Using the Tomb 45 triple cartridge razor. I haven't talked about this razor in a long time. The reason why it's black is so that you can see the contrast between the actual blade and the razor handle. I like to be able to see my corners because I use the corners of my razor the most. It also comes with 3 slide out cartridges. Each of them have a different exposure length, right? So some people don't want to see a lot of blade sticking out of their razor handle, which is good because it keeps as much stability on the blade as possible, especially when you're doing like hot towel shaves and bulk shaves. You don't want the blade sticking out. You lose stability. It has a medium exposure, and it has like a high exposure where the blade really shows. So we're done. We added some clay, some Tomb 45 indestructible clay. I'm using my pompadour comb to comb the hair, but it also gives some pretty cool texture to the hair. And that's the finished result, guys. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and hopefully you learned something from this video. I'm out.